Hi, I'm Taylor Garcia, and this is Buckingham News at 5. It is election term at University of Buckingham, and there are fears that student interest in SU politics is so diminished that the student body will be faced with yet another term under an unelected and unopposed SU president. With a £10,000 budget at their disposal and the power to approve all university society parties, you'd think that the position of SU would be keenly fought over. Jala Keita went to find out why campus democracy is dying out when it's needed most.
The SU has always been a haven for students looking to relax with their friends. So why aren't more students keen to get more involved in the running of the union?
My vote doesn't have a big impact on what actually happens in the SU offices, so therefore I find it pointless to vote.
I think one of the things that would prevent someone from standing for office would be outreach. It's quite difficult to find all of the people who are likely to vote for you, especially since people seem to stick amongst their own friend groups rather than expand beyond that.
Certain ethnicity is outnumbered, is like more than the others, and probably that's why they elect each other.
Outgoing Student Union President Damian Wilson echoed concerns regarding the workload.
Time constraint is probably our biggest enemy. The fact that you have to split your time between so many things.
Do you think there are any issues of ethnic bias that might put people off voting in the elections or even standing for election?
We have such a large number of other ethnic groups, then I won't win. That was basically what was said, which is kind of the same thing as saying you might as well not run because you're not from a particular country. And I think a lot of students may, even if someone hasn't said it to them, may see the same thing and say, oh, I'm not going to run.
However, the president spoke out against a culture of corruption.
I'm entirely against the idea that somehow our entire student body is corrupt. I mean, there may be individuals that may do particular things, but it's not the entire body, it's not the entire executive.
Standing for election is straightforward. First, you need a fellow student to nominate you, and then you need a further 5 students to support that nomination. The election is set to take place in week 7 of this term. However, the SU says that the exact date has not been specified. We'll be covering the whole campaign process, including interviews with candidates as they are nominated. This is Jala Keita reporting for Buckingham News.
The world of fashion knows many capitals. Milan, Paris, New York, Milton Keynes? What? No, it's true. If you ever look at Kate Moss or Cara Delevingne and think you could do better, MK Style Hunters could make all your fashion dreams come true in a new competition. Liv Marsden joined the hubbub at the hub to find out more.
For most people, a shopping trip to Milton Keynes is nothing out of the ordinary. But some people today will leave their trip with a chance of becoming MK Style Hero. The Midsummer Place shopping mall in Milton Keynes is on the lookout for the best dressed shopper and have hired special style hunters for the job. Once they have spotted a fashionista, they will upload their photo to an online app where people can vote for their favourite look. The winner will win £250 of shopping vouchers and will then be entered into a national competition run by Into Shopping Centres. Competing with other local style heroes, they will battle it out for votes to win £1,000 and the chance to be the face of a national ad campaign. There will also be an automatic prize draw for voters to win £100 of shopping vouchers.
People should get involved who would want a chance to win £1,000, and it's fun. A little photo, Facebook, a bit of competition, who doesn't want that? There is no age range, anyone can actually take part basically.
It is clear that the competition is open to everyone, even those who get their style inspiration from the most unusual places.
My wife, she likes Ryan Gosling and she tries to dress me up whatever he's wearing, so yeah, it's her really.
So, if you want to get style hunted, come along down to Midsummer Place on Saturday the 19th of April, or go to the shopping centre's Facebook page and vote for who you think is MK's best dressed. Good luck, fashionistas. This is Liv Marsden for Buckingham News.
What happens when sexy turns into sexism? The Law Society Playboy Mansion party at the OTM last Friday showed up the extent to which the girly mag culture of the 1950s still exerts a powerful pull on the male imagination. Are the women of the University of Buckingham content to be ogled, or concerned with better things than being drooled over and rated? Hell, this is 2014 after all. Jovan Djordjevic went in search of some answers.
People say looks are not everything, but here at the University of Buckingham, is that just another stone in the water?
We all hate the word sexist, but are men and women more easily led into thinking that sexual exploitation is acceptable?
We ask the question, why do guys rate girls on their physical attractiveness? And what do girls think about being rated?
I think it's terrible, you know, we tell them they get bored up being told that they should value their self-worth on their beauty, and then when they apply makeup, we tell them they're superficial. I mean, they can't win.
I think that it's inevitable that people are going to notice, obviously, the physical aspect of somebody else, whether you're a guy or a girl. But I think if that's the only thing being taken into consideration, then it tends to make me feel more like an object rather than an individual.
So rather than looking at you guys, rather than looking at females for the purposes of creating on offspring, we instead, especially in the younger generations, we just sort of look at it as a means of recreational activity.
Events held at the ODM, such as the recent Playboy themed party, and certain apps, such as Hot or Not, in which people are rated according to their sex appeal, seem to support this notion. This is Jovan Djordjevic for Buckingham News.
In other news, the Natwest Mobile Business School rolled into Hunter Street last Tuesday to offer students and local people advice on starting up businesses. The 1960 vintage double-decker tours the country all year long, providing guidance and expertise to budding entrepreneurs. And many business students took the chance to talk to NatWest business specialists and to ask questions to local business successes. Students have the chance to showcase their photography skills with the university's first sporting photo contest. Students have until Sunday evening to enter the competition, where they are required to capture themselves or friends playing sports in and around Buckingham. Students can vote for their favorite, and the top 5 shall be sent to a panel made up of 3 members of the Bucks and MK Sports Partnership. First place shall receive £50 cash. A reconditioned path in Chandos Park means that fresh air fiends are free to return from their constitutionals without looking like survivors from the Somme. The harsh winter 2 years ago and the exceptional rainfall this year meant that broken segments of the path were washed away by flooding. The main path has an improved surface, while the diagonal path is now tarmacked. Gravestones and cemetery memorials have been in use for centuries, allowing us a point linked to our ancestors and history. Often mossy, overgrown, and weathered, they usually sit undisturbed in quiet and peaceful cemeteries. This isn't the case in Buckingham's Brackley Road Cemetery, after the council has found crumbling memorials to be a matter of grave concern. Leandra Behrens has the story.
The council is trying to trace the grave owners of 28 memorials which were deemed unstable following a recent inspection and have been made temporarily safe with stakes and banding until more permanent repairs can be made. Falling memorials and gravestones have killed 8 people in the UK over the past 30 years, and the council is responsible to ensure the graveyard is safe. They are now faced with the task of identifying the grave owners and informing them of the project.
It's a very difficult job, that. What we've got in the main are the names on the graves, and we try and trace the families from there, particularly with the older graves where people have moved away. And the more recent graves, we've got a record. The deed holder, as they're known, will have left a name and address, and even if they've moved, you can generally trace them.
Carefully testing all memorials is expected to take 5 years in total and will involve several stages.
In the very old part of the cemetery, we will probably try to restore them ourselves at taxpayers' cost. In the newer part, we'll probably just lay the memorial flat along the grave length.
The cost is estimated to run into the thousands, and surviving relatives are not obliged to pay for the memorial restorations.
We can only invite them to pay. Very often, you're talking 8 or 10 generations back, some of them. Families change and all the rest of it. We can't just invoice them. We invite them to contribute towards the cost.
As the council goes about contacting the memorial owners with the project in its early stages, the work to ensure the cemetery is safe for everyone is only just beginning. This is Leandra Behrens for Buckingham News.
Now to sports with Yumna.
Thank you, Taylor. With the improved weather this term, the University of Buckingham's football team has managed to play their 3rd competitive game this calendar year against Pottersbury Reserves. Did they have any luck this week? Kevin Malindwa traveled with the team to Go-Kart to find out more.
Buckingham was at home to Pottersbury Reserves in their third game of 2014. A minute silence was observed prior to kick-off in tribute to the 96 victims of Hillsborough on the 25th anniversary of the disaster. The university started the game brightly with a high-pressing strategy with the aim of all-out attack. The team's strategy proved to be working with a number of early chances created. The early pressing was rewarded with a goal scored by Lardy Labode in the 15th minute of the first half. After the restart, Pottersbury showed their resolve by putting Buckingham on the back foot and creating chances of their own. This resulted in an equaliser 10 minutes before half-time. Buckingham kicked off the second half but spent the majority of the early periods camping inside their 18-yard box, with goalkeeper Alex Biddle having to pull off a number of world-class saves to keep Buckingham in the game. Unfortunately, Alex was unable to save Pottersbury's second goal in the 65th minute. After taking the lead, Pottersbury continued to pile the pressure on Buckingham's defence, with Alex Biddle coming to the team's rescue with more and more saves. With Pottersbury beginning to slow down their attack, Buckingham started to grow in confidence and take hold of the game, playing counter-attacking football and catching Pottersbury on the break. Despite Buckingham's attempts to equalise, they just couldn't break down Pottersbury's tough defence, and were again relying on Alex Biddle to keep them in the game, with the score ending 2-1 to the visitors. Kevin Molindwa, Buckingham News.
The popularity of the university's sports programs are continually increasing, giving students the opportunity to join a wide variety of athletics. Amongst the most sought after is netball. Johnny Lee went to practice to get the scoop.
Buckingham netball team took part in friendly games last week against Netball United to kick off the team activity this term. The Buckingham netball team were taking part in their first training session since their friendly against Netball United. Team captain Kate Holman gave some insight into their friendly match.
We're playing a friendly with sort of two different teams. So we were putting sort of a set of 7 on, then a different set of 7. So it was more like finding out positions and where people like to play, where people are best at, and what areas everyone can improve on. So obviously it was a bit of a trial and error, but it was still a good game, and it's always good to get friendlies.
What will it take for the team to improve?
Just need consistent training. We need everybody to come to training, and we need regular commitment from the players, because obviously the more they train together, the better they become.
With participation in netball increasing, are there any plans to join a league?
It's difficult with this squad because of their term dates. They don't synchronise with everybody else, so they're sort of coming and going when everybody's either here or not here. So joining the league, the dates have become a bit difficult.
What alternatives are there for members to compete?
So what we've been working on is a lot of friendlies. So I run a club, so my teams have been coming up, so they're getting different standards. They started off with my very beginners, and they're like working through my club. So it's a lot of friendlies every other week is what we're working on.
Are you looking for more members? And if so, what criteria has to be met?
You don't have to have any experience at all. You can have some experience, lots of experience, it doesn't matter. We've got about 16, 17 girls at the moment. Anyone can join. So just speak to Callum in the sports office. He'll give you my email and just get in touch.
Despite losing their friendly match, Buckingham netball team have found many positive and are eager to improve in the future. Johnny Lee, Buckingham News.
That's it for sports. Now back to the studio.
The Swan Ball was the culmination of graduation season. The event kicked off at 7:30 on Saturday night and ended with the traditional survivors' breakfast at 6 the following morning. As usual, it was madness all the way. Yumna Naji took Buckingham News cameras to the event to capture the flavor. If you're easily embarrassed, look away now. See you next time. Now over to sports with Yuma.
Thank you, Taylor. With the improved weather, it's Yumna.